What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Okay, so today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. I'm going to do a search for stimulus checks, $1,400 fourth stimulus check. Now, the reason that I'm doing this because I still have people in the comments telling me or asking me the question, when is the next stimulus check coming? I just had someone on SSI ask me, they said they're on SSI, when is the fourth stimulus check coming? And I have people all the time that ask me this same question about the fourth stimulus check. When is the fourth stimulus check coming? I heard somewhere that the fourth stimulus check's coming. I watched this YouTuber. I read this article. And so I want to do a search on YouTube for the fourth stimulus check. And then we're going to talk a little bit about this because the reality is, and I've been telling you guys this all along, you don't have politicians talking about a fourth stimulus check. There is no politician out there right now that's talking about a fourth stimulus check. As a matter of fact, I was watching a debate, and I believe it was between Senator Warnock and Herschel Walker. And that specific question was asked of Senator Warnock. And Senator Warnock didn't even answer the question. He actually went on to something else and started talking. I know, shocker, politicians do that, but I'm just saying, if this was something that was at the forefront, if a stimulus check was something that was at the forefront, he would have at least addressed it. He didn't even address it. He just went right past it. Politicians are not talking about a stimulus check, so that means that a stimulus check is not anywhere in the near future, okay? We don't know what's going on with our economy, so that could play a role in the future, the far, I'm talking years from now, maybe 2 years from now, when depending on how bad this recession goes. But the reality is no politician is talking about it. So if you're listening to people tell you about this, they're not telling you the truth. But we're going to do a search. We'll kind of go through. I just want to read some of the headlines when it comes to YouTube, some of the thumbnails, what's going on, what are people talking about when it comes to a fourth stimulus check. So that's what we're going to do in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell notification and click all. If you click all, you'll get notifications anytime I post a video. I do daily videos, so that means you should be getting a notification every day if you click all. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to my web browser here, and I'm in incognito. Now, the reason that you go in incognito when you do this is because you want a search that doesn't add the history. Like what these web browsers will do, they'll add your history, so it's not going to be authentic. This is just like someone coming from any area, even if you're doing it. If you're doing it, it's going to have a history on there. But if you do it in incognito, you're not signed into YouTube, so they don't have any of your information. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll pull up YouTube here, and we will do the search. So what did I say? Well, you know what? I'm going to say fourth stimulus check. Now, one thing that I know will come up. I know we'll see a lot of different things coming up as far as a stimulus check, but that will be referring to stateside stimulus, okay? Now, that is happening. We are seeing states offer up some relief checks and things like that, okay? Nothing in the neighborhood of $1,400, nothing in the neighborhood of $1,200. Usually it's $1,000 or less. I think in California is a little over $1,000, but for the most part, it's not that high. So if you're seeing amounts of $1,400 or $1,200, they're referring to the stimulus checks, the fourth stimulus check that we've been hearing a lot, or we were hearing a lot about, but we're not hearing about anymore. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I just want to, like I said, I just went to incognito, typed in fourth stimulus check. This is what we have. So we have Blind to Billionaire. He's the first one on here. He just posted a video earlier, and or actually it was yesterday. Okay, so Blind to Billionaire, $200 benefit raise. I'll talk about this $200 raise after we talk about the stimulus checks, because this is important for us to focus on as well. But then we have plus 2,000 fourth stimulus check. Okay, there's nothing in the works right now. No politicians talking about a $2,000 fourth stimulus check. Okay, and then moving down here, fourth stimulus check. Who is going to get it? $1,400 stimulus check. I don't know this individual, but this is not something that's happening. Okay, he did put a question mark on the thumbnail. So that's kind of like, is it going to happen? That's what the reason for the question mark. But we don't have politicians talking about this. Okay. Moving down here, yes, just confirmed, fourth stimulus check. Okay. If you guys ever watch my videos a couple years ago, this whole just confirmed thing is really, really irritating because nothing has been confirmed. And I would say, especially when we were talking about the stimulus checks back then, it's like, I'm not going to say something's confirmed until it's actually signed by the president. And we don't have anything that's been confirmed when it comes to any type of a stimulus check. It hasn't even gone through Congress. It hasn't even passed any chamber. I mean, we're talking the Senate, the House. We don't even have politicians putting anything on the floor when it comes to a stimulus check. Okay, so that's just not true. I guess, and I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt when they're putting this information out. But yes, just confirmed, 4 stimulus check update and breaking news. Okay, so breaking news is some other stuff, but as far as the 4 stimulus check, nothing's been confirmed. Okay, another one here. Yes, $1,400 for stimulus check, Social Security, SSI, low income. Okay. So just looking at this, verify. Now this is an interesting channel, and I've watched them before. And what they do is they will answer questions. Is there a forced stimulus check? And this was 7 months ago that they put this out, so it was a little while ago. The other videos that we looked at, they're pretty recent. 1 day, 4 days, 14 hours. So these are very recent videos. But this verify, what they will do is they will do the research and let you know. And I'm sure, and I haven't watched this video, but I'm sure they came back and said, look, we don't have politicians talking about a forced stimulus check. It's just not going to happen. Inflation relief checks. Okay, we talked a little bit about this. This is California. So they're talking about that, but they're saying, inflation relief check. We know this is not the forced stimulus check. Okay, stimulus check approved. Okay, here's another video here. Forced stimulus check update today, 2022. This was 3 months ago. But big inflation relief, 44 states. Okay, so all this information here, I would imagine that he's just talking about the state-side stimulus. He can't be talking about a forced stimulus check because it's just not a reality. Forced stimulus check may be on the way. And look at this video. This was a year ago, 389,000 views. So people are watching this stuff, and this is actually coming from a news outlet. So Fox 13 News in Utah. Yeah, no, not happening. Even a year ago, there was still talk, and you did have some politicians talking about it. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. That does make a little bit of sense when it comes to a year ago. We were at a different time than we are right now. Okay, and just moving on down, and I'm not going to go through everything here, but we have the same how-to guys. This same guy is talking about the same thing, forced stimulus check update. And what I want you to look at, and this is a thing I think that we should be focused on the most. These videos are getting views. Okay, people are watching this content. Okay, and the reality is it's not happening. It's just not. And like I said, the videos that were a year ago, I totally understand that. A year ago, we were in a different time, and that makes sense. But the videos that are coming out right now, a day ago, hours ago, these videos, yes, it's just not happening. And so when you have people to continue talking about this, it just baffles my mind. Okay, one other thing. Let's go ahead and go into Google News. And we'll do the same thing. We'll type it in Google News and see what comes up here. And maybe we'll have some different information. But let's see. Fourth stimulus check. Okay. And so the U.S. Sun, which I'm not surprised that they would be the first article that you see. Actually, all the articles are coming from the U.S. Sun. Very, very interesting. The U.S. Sun, just in my opinion, they put out a lot of content, or at least the headline. Usually, the actual contents of the article, it's factual. Usually, not always. But the headline, the title is always misleading. Very, very misleading. Okay. Forced stimulus check update 2022. Payments worth up to $1,050 to drop next month. Now they're talking about states, right? In multiple states. So the thing is, the first thing that you're going to see is forced stimulus check update 2022. This is not a forced stimulus check. This is not the fourth stimulus check that California is sending out or these other states are sending out to the people in their state. So this is very, very misleading. Another thing here, forced stimulus check update, and basically they're just going over this. I mean, this was 3 days ago. This was 14 days ago. It's like every week they're putting out this same title, forced stimulus check update 2022. And so it's very interesting that the first five articles are all from the U.S. Sun. Okay. So just, I mean, it's amazing to me. Here's another article here, inflation relief, but at least they're saying inflation relief check. 3 states will send stimulus checks. That's fine. I totally understand that. That is not leading you to believe that we have a forced stimulus check on the way. So I don't see any problem with that. Stimulus checks in 2022. Will you get one? I don't have a problem with that. IRS wants millions to claim their child tax credit stimulus checks. Okay, there's no problem with that. Okay, but when you're looking at some of the top headlines up here, this forced stimulus check update 2022, come on now, it's just not there. Okay, now I want to talk about the $200 raise for Social Security because I do have people that are asking me this question. Now that we have COLA, we know what the increase is. It's 8.7. What are they going to do when it comes to the raise for Social Security? Why didn't the president do anything when it came to the raise for Social Security? Okay, so let's talk about it this way. When it comes down to it, we know, and hopefully we're at a point where we understand how government runs, okay? The president does not have the power to do anything when it comes to raising the Social Security, the $200 raise for Social Security. He doesn't have the power to do that. It has to come through Congress, okay? One of the things that we're hearing a lot about right now is the student loans. He canceled student loans. He did that by executive order. Why can't he do an executive order when it comes to some of these other things? Well, when you need money, and we know that the student loan cancellation will cost money, but it's going to cost money on the back end because all they're saying is you don't have to pay us anymore. So initially you don't need any money because the money has already gone out to the people, to the students, right? The money has already gone out, and they're just saying, president's just saying you don't have to pay us back. So eventually, yes, that will cost money. But up front, it's not costing any money. It's just a cancellation, okay? It's just like if I owe you, or if you owe me $100 and I say, you know what, just don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me the $100. At some point, I'm going to have to recoup that. I mean, it'll get to a point where it's like, okay, now I have to go into my bank in order to get a little bit more money because I told this person they didn't have to pay me, okay? So it will cost me, but in the long term. It's not going to cost me up front. Whereas if we're looking at a raise for Social Security, a $200 raise for Social Security, that means the following month, guess what? Everyone on Social Security will get that $200 raise. That money has to come from somewhere. So there's a difference. And right now you're hearing certain different politicians, I won't say certain, but you're hearing politicians that are against the student loan cancellation come out and say you can't make us do this, and you're making taxpayers pay and all that. Pay on the back end. They're not paying on the front end, okay, because it's already been dealt with. So that's why when you hear about the $200 raise for Social Security, when they're talking about this, they're saying we need to raise taxes on the rich, or we need to do this. They need the money in order to pay the $200 raise, right? And so right now, there's the most popular plan is Senator Bernie Sanders' plan. That's a $2,400 per year, okay, $2,400 raise. And so that would be $200 per month. That is the most popular one that we're hearing about right now. Now, politicians aren't talking about this, okay? They talked about it about 3-4 months ago, but as of right now, they're not talking about it. we're not going to see any movement when it comes to any legislation, any major legislation. We're not going to see anything until in January, maybe February of next year. Okay, so anyone that's telling you, and I did see some articles that came out talking about the fact that, oh, will we see the $200 raise in October, or will we see it in November? It's not going to happen, because politicians right now, all they're focused on is the elections, okay, midterm elections. That's what they're focused on. And then after the election, guess what? You're going to have some winners and some losers. And the losers they're not going to want to do anything, right? They lost. Why would they want to do any major legislation? Because they've lost. And you're going to have some people who are in a situation where they won, and they're going to be going into the new legislation or the new Congress in 2023. And so they're not going to want to make any waves. They're going to want to wait and say, okay, let's get the new people in, and then we'll try to move forward with the legislation. So nothing will happen. We're not seeing any major legislation. So if you're scrolling through YouTube, or you're scrolling through Google News, or whatever, however you find your news, and you see someone saying something about big major legislation passing next week, or passing in October, or passing in November, or passing in December, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get politicians to move on anything at this time. And so when it comes to that raise, that $200 raise for Social Security, we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see what happens in 2023. And when it comes to the way that things need to work, it has to go through Congress. Okay, it's not going to come from the president. The president, President Biden, and he said this, okay? He did say, look, I'm in favor of a raise, a $200 raise for Social Security. But does that mean that he can do anything about it? No, he can't do much about it. All he can do is say, hey, leadership in Congress, can you guys get this through for me? But it's up to Congress in order to get it done. And so that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on Congress, because they're the ones that have to put the bill together, put the bill on the floor, get it passed in both chambers, and then sent to the president so he can sign off on it. But that's how it works. It doesn't work the other way around. The president can't create a bill and sign off on the bill and then send it to Congress and have them vote on it. It doesn't work that way. It has to come from Congress. Okay, so the people that are out there, and there are a lot of people, I don't care if you like President Biden, or if you liked former President Trump, or whoever you like. I don't care. We need to know how the process works. And the process doesn't work from the president down. The process works from Congress approving this bill and sending it to the president. That's how it works. And so if we want to look at someone to move on something, we have to look at Congress. When there's money involved, we have to look in Congress, because they're the ones that have to figure out how is this going to be paid for, and approve it and send it to the president. So that was the long answer, but basically when we're looking at the $200 raise for Social Security, yes, we're not going to see anything. They're not even going to mention this until 2023. And then at that time, depending on what we see in the midterms, and it looks like the Republicans will be taking over at least the House, and they might be able to take over the Senate as well. But when we're looking at that, Republicans have historically not wanted to expand Social Security, okay? So what that means is that $200 raise, that would be an expansion to Social Security. They're not interested in doing that. And so if you have the House not interested in moving forward with an expansion of Social Security, then guess what? It's not going anywhere. Because even if the Senate wants to move forward, they can pass a bill, but when it goes to the House, guess what? It dies in the House. And so that's what we're looking at right now. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the $200 raise for Social Security, because I'm also hearing about that. But when it comes to that fourth stimulus check, it's not happening. Okay. When it comes to the $200 raise for Social Security, maybe we'll see something happen in the future, maybe in 2023. But we have to look at who is in office and what they want to do when it comes to moving forward. Child tax credit, that's something else. We might see that's possible. The child tax credit is possible because you do have Republicans that support, at least in the Senate, you do have some support for a child tax credit. okay, by Republicans. And so that means that in the Senate, they could pass something. So we'll have to just follow that. But like I said, if they pass it in the Senate and it goes to the House and you don't have any support in the House, then it's still not going to go anywhere. So there's a lot of things. Everything is really going to be, everyone is going to be focused on the midterms because that's going to decide a lot when it comes to the next 2 years. The next 2 years, what are we going to see go through Congress in the next 2 years? That's why we're looking at the midterms. That's why it's very, very important for you to get out and vote and know what your politicians want. Know how they stand on different issues, okay? And if you are currently receiving Social Security, you should know how those politicians feel about Social Security. Do they want to expand Social Security? Do they want to focus on the trust fund? Do they want to privatize Social Security? All these things are very, very important for you to know. If you guys have any other questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.